You know, it's strange how the little things often go unnoticed until they don't. A few months ago, I visited my Uncle Joe. He's 72 now, one of those old school gentlemen with a kind smile and a handshake that still feels firm, like the old days. He still mows his lawn every Saturday and never misses his morning coffee at the diner down the street. But that morning, something felt off. He looked tired more than usual. His breath seemed short just from walking across the kitchen. I asked, "Uncle Joe, you okay?" And he smiled and said, "Just getting older, I suppose." But deep down, I felt uneasy, and that's the thing. So many of our parents, uncles, aunts, even we ourselves, shrug off the signs. We think it's just age, but sometimes it's more than just age. You see, heart disease doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. A little fatigue here, a missed heartbeat there, a strange tightness in the chest that we chalk up to maybe I slept funny. We admire our elders for their strength, their resilience, their don't make a fuss attitude. But sometimes the body is trying to tell us something, and we need to listen. That's why this video matters. Because heart disease is still the #1 cause of death for people over 65 in the US. But the truth is, many heart problems can be detected early if we know what to look for. So today, we're not just going to talk about health. We're going to walk through 7 quiet but powerful warning signs your heart may be in trouble, especially for seniors. And if you catch even one of these early, you might just save your life or someone you love. So pull up a chair, take a deep breath, and let's walk through this together, gently, clearly, and with care. Because getting older is a gift, and your heart deserves to be treated like one. Sign number 1, unusual fatigue. When tired isn't just tired. You know what's funny? My neighbor Helen is 78, but you'd never guess it. She still bakes the best pecan pie in the county and tends to her roses like they're royalty. She's got that spark in her eye, the kind of woman who's lived through storms but still smiles like sunshine. One day I was walking past her yard when I noticed she wasn't outside like usual. No rose gloves, no watering can, no gentle hum of gospel songs coming from her porch. So I knocked. She opened the door, smiled that sweet Helen smile, but something felt off. She said, "Honey, I've just been so tired lately. Even brushing my hair wears me out. I must be getting old." But here's the thing. That kind of tired, that deep down, bone-heavy fatigue isn't always just age. Sometimes it's your heart waving a little red flag, whispering, "Hey, I'm struggling here." And sadly, so many people ignore it because they think slowing down is just part of growing older. They think, "Well, I'm not 40 anymore." And they pour another cup of coffee to push through the day. But what if that fatigue isn't from age? What if it's your heart not pumping enough blood to the rest of your body? What if it's not laziness or weakness, but a warning? Let me tell you, Helen listened to that whisper. She went to her doctor. Turns out she was in early stages of heart failure. Now, because she caught it early, she's got treatment, she's got energy, and she's back with her roses. And yes, that pecan pie too. So here's the question I want to ask you. Have you been feeling more tired than usual? Not just sleepy, but exhausted, even after doing nothing? Maybe walking to the mailbox leaves you winded, or folding laundry feels like climbing a mountain. Don't ignore that. Don't brush it off. Your body is smart. It's been carrying you for decades. It knows when something isn't right. And your heart, it's the quiet hero behind it all. But even heroes need help sometimes. So if any of this sounds familiar, I want you to do two things. First, talk to your doctor. Please don't wait. Second, share this message. Comment below if you've ever felt that deep tiredness, and let others know they're not alone. Hit that like button so more folks can find this message. And if you care about your health or someone else's, subscribe to this channel. We're building a place where people like you, strong, wise, and full of life, can learn, share, and live better together. Remember, tired isn't always just tired. Sometimes it's your heart asking for help. And when we listen early, we give ourselves the gift of more time, more smiles, and more days in the sunshine. So don't ignore the whisper. Listen, act, and take care of that beautiful heart of yours. Sign number 2, shortness of breath. When a deep breath feels miles away. I remember my Grandpa Henry, strong as an oak, with hands calloused from years of working the land and a voice that rumbled like a warm engine. He used to sit out on the porch every evening, watching the sun dip low behind the trees, sipping sweet tea, humming old tunes from the war years. He always seemed so steady, like nothing could shake him. But one night I was visiting and I noticed something strange. As we sat there talking, he shifted in his chair. Then again and again. He looked a little uncomfortable, even fidgety. When I asked if he was all right, he said, "I just can't seem to catch my breath tonight. Lying down doesn't feel good either. I've been sleeping upright the past few days." Then he chuckled and said, "Guess I'm getting soft." But that wasn't softness, that was a warning. Shortness of breath, especially when you're lying down or doing something simple like climbing a few stairs or walking to the mailbox, can be a quiet alarm bell. And too often it's mistaken for age, a little cold, or even nerves. But your heart may be saying, "I'm having trouble keeping up." You see, when your heart isn't pumping blood the way it should, fluid can start to build up in your lungs. That's why lying flat can make it harder to breathe. It's not just discomfort, it's pressure, it's fluid, it's a sign. And here's what's beautiful. When caught early, this doesn't have to lead to tragedy. Grandpa Henry got checked out the very next morning. His doctor told him it was congestive heart failure starting to creep in, but it was still early. With some medicine and lifestyle changes, he got stronger. He went back to sleeping like a baby and humming on that porch again. So I ask you, have you noticed yourself needing more pillows to sleep? Do you feel winded just getting dressed or walking across the room? It might not just be age, it might be your heart asking for help. Don't wait until it gets worse. Don't brush it off with a joke or a shrug. Instead, do what Grandpa Henry did. Listen, act, heal. And if this story speaks to you or reminds you of someone you love, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button. Leave a comment below if you've ever had trouble breathing when lying down. We read every single one. And most of all, subscribe to our channel. We're here for you with stories, facts, and support for the journey ahead. Because breathing should never feel like a battle. And growing older, it should feel light, not heavy. Take care of that heart. And if your breath ever feels far away, let that be the moment you come closer to help. Sign number 3, chest pain, the pressure you shouldn't ignore. There's something about the word pain that makes folks shrug it off, especially the strong ones. The ones who've spent a lifetime caring others, building homes, raising families, showing up even when they didn't feel 100%. My friend Walter is one of those people. 82 years young, a Korean war vet, a retired school principal. He's the kind of man who still shines his shoes every Sunday morning. A true gentleman. And when he walks into a room, people sit up a little straighter. A few winters back, Walter called me and said, "Something's not right. I feel this weight on my chest, like someone set a bag of bricks right here." He tapped his sternum. "It's not sharp pain, just tight, heavy, and it comes and goes." I told him, "Walter, that doesn't sound like something to mess with." He hesitated, said, "You think I should go in?" I said, "I think you should have gone yesterday." And you know what? That call might have saved his life, because that pressure, that squeezing, almost crushing feeling in the chest, can be a sign of a heart attack. It's not always the dramatic movie-style pain. Sometimes it's subtle, a slow grip, a deep pressure that radiates to your arms, your jaw, or your back. And it's one of the most important signs your heart is calling for help. Walter made it to the hospital in time. They said he had a blocked artery. A silent killer, they called it, because it whispers before it roars. But thanks to his quick action, he's still here, still walking, still teaching the neighborhood kids how to fish down by the lake. So let me ask you, have you ever felt pressure in your chest? Not necessarily pain, but like someone's sitting on you? Has it happened when you're walking up the stairs or even just sitting still? Don't ignore it. Don't wait. This isn't about being tough. It's about being wise. Strong people know when to fight and when to ask for help. If Walter's story made you pause even for a second, please leave a comment below. Tell us if you've ever felt something like this, or if someone you love has. Your story might help someone else recognize the signs. And if you found this helpful, hit that like button so more people get this life-saving info. Better yet, subscribe to our channel for more stories that could truly make a difference. Because chest pain isn't always loud, but the consequences of ignoring it, they speak volumes. Let's stay here a little longer together. Let's choose life, one wise moment at a time. Sign number 4, irregular heartbeat. When your heart skips more than just a beat, you ever feel your heart flutter, like a little bird trapped inside your chest? I'll never forget the day my cousin Marie, 74 years old, and one of the kindest souls I know, called me up and said, "Sweetheart, I think my heart's dancing, but not in a good way." She was folding laundry, nothing strenuous, just towels and pillowcases, when suddenly she felt a strange flutter in her chest. Not pain, not pressure, just weird. Like her heart skipped a beat, then raced like it was chasing something. She laughed nervously and said, "Maybe I just had too much coffee." But deep down, she felt something wasn't quite right, and she was right to listen. Because that flutter, that irregular beat, that moment your heart feels like it's drumming to the wrong rhythm, it could be a warning, a real one. You see, your heart is like a perfectly timed orchestra. Every beat, every pause, every rest, it's all in sync. But when that rhythm goes off, too fast, too slow, or just plain out of whack, it might be a sign of atrial fibrillation or other types of arrhythmias. And those can raise your risk for serious problems, like stroke or heart failure. The scariest part? Sometimes it only lasts a few seconds, just long enough to make you stop and wonder, what was that? And sadly, most folks brush it off. They think it's stress, or age, or maybe excitement. But if your heart feels like it's skipping, racing, or slowing way down, especially without any clear reason, it's worth paying attention to. Marie did the right thing. She went to her doctor. They ran some tests. Turns out she had an irregular rhythm, but they caught it early. With some medication and monitoring, she's back to gardening, baking those heavenly banana muffins, and living her beautiful, busy life. So here's what I want to say to you from the bottom of my heart. Don't ignore the strange rhythms. Don't wait for it to happen again and again. Your heart has been loyal to you every single day of your life. If it's stumbling now, it might be asking for your attention. Have you ever felt your heart beating strangely, like it's too fast, too slow, or just wrong? Let us know in the comments. Share your story, because someone out there might need to hear it today. And hey, if this video helped you, even just a little, tap that like button so more people like us can find it. And if you want to stay connected to this community of caring, strong, and wise folks, subscribe to the channel. We're all in this together, because your heartbeat, it's not just a rhythm, it's your story still being written. Make sure you're here to write every page. Sign number 5, swelling in the legs, ankles, or belly. When your body holds on to more than just time. You know, there's a kind of wisdom in how our bodies speak to us. Not always with words, not even with pain. Sometimes it's just a quiet change, something small that we almost miss until we don't. My Aunt Louise, God bless her soul, was always graceful. 80 years old, but carried herself like a ballet dancer from the old films. Even her steps around the house felt soft and deliberate. She made the best pot roast in the world and could still beat anyone in a game of Scrabble. But one summer afternoon, I noticed something different. Her slippers didn't quite fit. Her ankles looked a little puffier. She laughed it off. "Must have had too much salt last night," she said, brushing it away like it was nothing. But the swelling didn't go down. By the end of the week, her legs felt heavy, like carrying buckets of water. And her belly, once trim and firm, felt bloated, like it didn't belong to her. That's when we knew this wasn't just salt or age. This was her heart, quietly struggling. You see, when the heart isn't pumping blood the way it should, fluid starts to back up. It collects in the legs, ankles, even the belly, and the body, so loyal, so strong, tries to hold on, to cope, to carry the load. But sometimes it can't do it alone. Aunt Louise went to her doctor. Turns out she was in the early stages of congestive heart failure. But here's the beautiful part. Because she acted quickly, she got the help she needed. Medication, a bit of a lifestyle shift, and regular checkups. And within weeks, the swelling went down, and her smile came right back up. So if your socks leave deep marks on your legs, if your shoes feel tighter for no reason, if your belly feels heavy, swollen, or uncomfortable, even when you haven't eaten much, please don't ignore it. It's not vanity. It's not just getting older. It might be your heart waving a flag, gently asking for attention. Let me ask you, friend, have you ever noticed unexplained swelling in your legs or belly? Tell us in the comments. You never know who else might read your story and find the courage to ask for help. And if this video made you think of someone you love, maybe a parent, a friend, or even yourself, tap that like button so more people can hear this gentle warning. And if you'd like more stories like this, warm and real, from people who care, subscribe to our channel. We're here to walk this journey together. Because swelling isn't just about water, it's about what your heart can't carry anymore. And the sooner we listen, the sooner we heal. Your heart has carried you this far. Let's make sure it carries you farther. Sign number 6, dizziness or fainting. When the world spins without warning. Sometimes it starts small. You stand up from your favorite chair, just like always. But the room tilts. Your knees feel weak. And for a moment, it's like the ground forgets where you're supposed to be. That's exactly what happened to my neighbor, Tom. Tom's 76, a retired firefighter, strong as they come. He's the kind of man who still helps his neighbors carry groceries and shovels snow off driveways just to be kind. One morning, he came outside to get the paper, took a few steps down his porch, and the next thing he knew, he was sitting on the ground, confused. Not hurt, thank God, but shaken. He told me later, I didn't trip, I didn't slip, I just felt lightheaded, and then everything went blank for a second. He laughed it off with a nervous smile, but you could see the worry in his eyes. And honestly, it scared me more than he let on. Because dizziness, lightheadedness, even fainting, especially for folks our age, can be your heart's way of saying, I'm not getting enough blood to the brain. It's not just dehydration. It's not always the weather. Sometimes it's a signal, one that's quiet but serious. You see, your heart is the engine that sends oxygen-rich blood to every part of your body, especially your brain. And when it doesn't keep up, maybe from a slow rhythm, a weak pump, or a blockage, your brain takes notice. The result? The world spins. Your body says, sit down now. And if you don't, it might sit you down for you. Tom thankfully took it seriously. He visited his doctor that same afternoon. Turns out, his heart rhythm had been irregular, slowing down at times without warning. He now wears a small monitor, takes his meds, and feels steadier than ever. So let me ask you, have you ever felt like the room was spinning? Have you stood up and had to grab the wall, or even sat right back down? Don't dismiss it. Don't chalk it up to just getting older. Your balance, your clarity, your safety, they all depend on that beautiful heart doing its job right. If this story made you think of something you've experienced or someone you care about, drop us a comment below. Your story matters. It might help someone else feel seen. Tap that like button if this video helped you in any way. And if you want to hear more stories, more truth, and more hope, subscribe to this channel. We're building a place where heart health meets heartwarming care. Because you deserve to stand tall, to walk steady, to trust your steps again. Don't ignore the spinning. Let's face it, this world moves fast enough already. Let's give your heart the rhythm it needs to keep you grounded. Sign number 7, persistent nighttime cough, when your body tries to speak in the dark. It started with a little tickle, just a small cough after dinner. No big deal, really. At least that's what Margaret thought. She's 81, still drives herself to church on Sundays, and bakes a pie every week for her neighbor who just lost his wife. A heart of gold, that woman. Sharp mind, quick laugh, and always the one to check in on you, even when she's the one feeling off. But lately something changed. At night, Margaret started coughing more. A dry, nagging cough that wouldn't let her sleep through the night. She'd prop herself up on pillows, sip warm tea, even tried honey and lemon. I thought it was allergies, she told me, or maybe a little cold that just didn't want to leave. But the nights kept getting worse. The cough wouldn't quit. And here's the part that surprised her, and me too. That kind of persistent nighttime cough can actually be a warning sign from the heart. You see, when the heart isn't pumping efficiently, fluid can start to build up in the lungs, and lying down makes it worse. That fluid irritates the lungs, triggering coughing, especially at night when you're trying to rest. It's not just a tickle, it's your body trying to say, hey, something deeper is going on. Margaret finally saw her doctor, and thank goodness she did. They found early signs of heart failure. Not the end of the world, but a wake-up call. With some medication and a few changes to her routine, the coughing stopped, and she's back to doing what she loves, feeding others and lighting up every room she walks into. So friend, let me ask you, have you had a cough that just won't quit, especially at night? One that doesn't feel like a cold or allergy but lingers like an unwelcome guest? Please don't ignore it. Don't wait until it gets worse. Your body is wise. It speaks, even in whispers, especially in the dark. If this story reminds you of something you've experienced or someone you care about, leave a comment below. Your voice matters, and you never know who it might help. Tap that like button if this video helped you see things in a new light. And if you want more gentle, real conversations about health and hope, subscribe to our channel. We're here for the long haul, for the late nights, for the quiet questions. Because growing older isn't about ignoring the signs. It's about learning to listen and giving our hearts the care they've always given to others. Don't let that cough go unheard. It might just be your heart calling for help. And you, my friend, you deserve restful nights and peaceful mornings. Conclusion: listening to your heart, one sign at a time, you know. It's funny how we spend most of our lives worrying about others, our kids, our grandkids, our neighbors, our friends. We give, we carry, we show up. But sometimes we forget to check in on ourselves. And yet your heart, oh, your beautiful heart, has been beating faithfully for you since the very first day. Never asking for thanks, never skipping a shift, just showing up, beat after beat, year after year, until one day it whispers, not in pain, not in panic, but gently, with signs. Maybe it's a strange kind of tiredness that won't go away. Maybe it's a breath that feels shorter than it should, a tightness in the chest, a rhythm that doesn't feel quite right, a little swelling, a dizzy spell, or a cough in the middle of the night that just keeps coming back. These aren't just aches of age. They're messages, tiny signals from your heart asking for your attention. And the truth is, the earlier we listen, the better chance we have to live fully, love deeply, and stay longer with the people who need us most. I don't know about you, but I believe growing older is a gift, a badge of strength, a quiet kind of courage. And part of that courage is knowing when to say, something doesn't feel right, I'm going to check on it. So here's what I hope you'll take away today. If even one of these signs sounded familiar, don't ignore it. Call your doctor. Talk to someone. Take that one step. You might just be giving yourself the gift of many more years to laugh, to love, to rock babies to sleep, to dance slow in the kitchen, to sit on your front porch and feel the wind on your face. And if this message touched your heart, please leave us a comment. Let us know which sign spoke to you. Share your story. You never know who might read it and feel a little less alone. Tap that like button if this video helped you in any way. And if you believe in a life filled with wisdom, care, and community, subscribe to our channel. Because this isn't just a place for information, it's a place for people who care. Your heart has been there for you every moment of your life. Isn't it time you were there for it too? Take care, dear friend. We're with you, beat by beat,